Puma is a multinational athletic footwear and apparel company. For a company like Puma, mission-critical tasks include designing and developing new footwear and apparel products, ensuring efficient manufacturing processes, and maintaining quality standards are crucial for Puma's operations. Failure to execute these tasks properly could result in delays in product launches, subpar quality, and ultimately customer dissatisfaction and loss of market share. In today's digital age, having a strong online presence and seamless e-commerce operations are crucial to companies like Puma. Failing to effectively manage online sales platforms, website performance, and customer service could result in lost sales, frustrated customers, and damage to the brand's reputation. The specific business penalties for Puma in case of failure to complete mission-critical tasks would simply depend on the nature and the extent of failure. However, here are some potential consequences that I listed that a company can be exposed to. Failing to execute mission-critical tasks can result in lost sales opportunities, decreased market share, and reduced revenue for Puma. In the fast-paced sports apparel industry, failure to meet critical objectives can lead to a loss of competitiveness against rivals, as competitors may gain an advantage in product innovation, supply chain efficiency, or marketing effectiveness. Puma's brand image could be negatively impacted if mission-critical tasks related to quality control, supply chain management, or customer service are not adequately addressed. This can lead to a loss of brand reputation and customer trust. Puma competes with companies like Adidas and Nike in the athletic footwear and apparel industry. Here are some insights on how mission-critical tasks can potentially differentiate Puma from its rivals or act as competitive necessities. Puma can differentiate itself by excelling in mission-critical tasks related to product innovation, design, and performance. Developing unique and innovative footwear and apparel technologies, materials, or designs that resonate with consumers can give Puma a competitive advantage over its rivals. Effective execution of mission-critical tasks can contribute to shaping Puma's brand identity and differentiation. By focusing on specific market segments, emphasizing lifestyle or performance, or aligning with particular sports or athletes, Puma can differentiate its brands from competitors like Adidas and Nike. Mission-critical tasks related to sustainable practices such as responsible sourcing, eco-friendly manufacturing, or ethical business practices can differentiate Puma from its rivals. An emphasis on sustainability can attract consumers who prioritize environmentally conscious brands. Meeting or exceeding industry standards in terms of product quality, durability, and performance is a competitive necessity for Puma. Falling behind competitors like Adidas and Nike in these areas could lead to a loss of market share and customer trust. Competing with global giants like Adidas and Nike requires effective marketing and branding strategies. Puma needs to execute mission-critical tasks related to brand positioning, advertising, and sponsorships to maintain visibility and keep up with the promotional efforts of its rivals. The competitive landscape can change rapidly, and companies continually evolve their strategies to differentiate themselves. Therefore, the specific mission-critical tasks that can differentiate Puma from Adidas, Nike, or other competitors may evolve as time goes. Yes, staving off copycat rivals can potentially increase the business payoff of Puma. Copycat rivals are companies that imitate or replicate successful products, designs, or strategies of established brands like Puma. By proactively addressing copycat competition, Puma can protect its brand, maintain its unique identity, and secure several benefits. In terms of competitive advantage, copycat rivals often aim to offer similar products or designs at lower prices, potentially luring away customers from established brands. By effectively addressing copycats and maintaining product quality, innovation, and brand reputation, Puma can maintain a competitive advantage over these imitators, protecting its market share and its revenue. Reflecting on intellectual property protection, copycat rivals may infringe on Puma's intellectual property rights, such as trademarks, copyrights, or patents. By actively enforcing its intellectual property rights and taking legal action against copycats, Puma can safeguard its designs, technologies, and innovations, preventing unauthorized use and protecting its investments in research and development. In terms of customer perception and trust, copycat products may not meet the same quality or performance standards as Puma's original products. By combating copycat competition, Puma can ensure that customers perceive its brand as reliable, trustworthy, and associated with superior quality. This can reinforce customer trust and loyalty, leading to repeat purchases and positive word-of-mouth recommendations. It is worth noting that staving off copycat rivals requires a combination of legal measures, brand protection strategies, innovation, and continuous efforts to stay ahead in terms of product development and customer experience. By actively defending its position against copycat rivals, Puma can actually enhance its business payoff and maintain a competitive edge in the marketplace. The process of defining requirements for any organization, including Puma, typically involves collaboration and iteration between business users and IT teams. While requirements can be initially documented, the process of fleshing them out often requires ongoing communication and feedback loops to ensure alignment between business needs and technical feasibility. Here is an overview of the requirements definitions process and the collaboration between business users and IT teams. Firstly, in terms of initial requirements gathering, business users and stakeholders work closely with IT teams to identify and document high-level requirements based on the organization's goals, objectives, and needs. Secondly, looking at iterative refinement, once the initial requirements are documented, there is usually a series of iterations to refine and expand upon them. Business users and IT teams engage in discussions and meetings to clarify ambiguities, address gaps, and validate the requirements. This iterative process helps to ensure that requirements capture the business' true needs. Thirdly, reflecting on collaboration and communication, business users and IT teams maintain an ongoing collaborative relationship throughout the requirements definition process. Regular communication channels such as meetings, documentation, reviews address challenges, and enable continuous feedback and refinement. Fourthly, prototyping and proof of concept. Depending on the complexity of the requirements, creating prototypes or conducting proof of concept exercises can be valuable. This allows business users to visualize and validate the proposed solutions, providing feedback that can inform further refinement of the requirement. Fifthly, this is documentation and validation. As the requirements mature, they are documented in detail, capturing functional and non-functional aspects, user interface designs, integration points, and data requirements. The documentation serves as a reference for both business users and IT teams and forms the basis for development and implementation. This is the last step, which is validation and sign-off, and the finalized requirements are shared with stakeholders for validation and sign-off. This ensures that all parties are aligned on the scope, objectives, and expected outcomes before proceeding to the actual development phase. Effective collaboration and iteration between business users and IT teams are essential for fleshing out requirements, aligning expectations, and ensuring successful project outcomes for Puma, or any organization for that matter. To determine whether Puma's IT unit has the technical chops to handle specific tasks, an assessment of their capabilities would be necessary. This assessment would typically involve evaluating the expertise, skills, and experience of the IT team members, as well as their alignment with the required technologies and practices. Puma's internal stakeholders would need to evaluate the competencies of their IT unit against the specific requirements to gauge their suitability. Creating a foreign captive center could be one potential solution if Puma determines that it requires additional technical skills that are abundant in another location. A foreign captive center involves establishing a subsidiary or dedicated facility in another country where there is access to the desired talent pool. This approach allows Puma to tap into a larger talent market and potentially benefit from lower labor costs. However, it also comes with challenges, such as managing remote teams, navigating cultural differences, and considering legal and compliance aspects. When considering the creation of a foreign captive center, Puma would need to conduct a thorough cost-benefit analysis. This analysis should consider factors such as the long-term cost savings, talent availability, operational efficiencies, scalability, and strategic alignment with Puma's business objectives. It is important to weigh the potential benefits against initial investment and ongoing operational costs associated with establishing and managing a foreign captive center. Ultimately, the decision regarding Puma's IT capabilities and the establishment of a foreign captive center would depend on multiple factors, including the specific requirements, available resources, strategic goals, and budgetary considerations. It would require a thorough evaluation by Puma's leadership and collaboration between IT and business stakeholders to determine the most appropriate course of action. Whether Puma's IT unit can handle the entire detailed design in-house before handing it off to a vendor would depend on various factors, including the complexity of the design requirements, the capabilities of the IT unit, and the specific vendor engagement strategy of Puma. In some cases, organizations prefer to have their IT unit handle the detailed design in-house before engaging a vendor for implementation. This approach allows the IT team to have a thorough understanding of the system requirements, design considerations, and potential technical challenges. It also enables them to have better control over the design process, ensuring that it aligns with the organization's specific needs and standards. The decision to handle the detailed design in-house or involve a vendor depends on in-house expertise and project complexity. So first of all, in terms of in-house expertise, Puma's IT units needs to have the necessary expertise, technical skills, and resources to handle the detailed design effectively. This includes proficiency in relevant technologies, system architecture, user interface design, integration considerations, and scalability requirements. In terms of project complexity, the complexity and scale of the project can influence the decision. For complex projects with integrated design requirements, involving a vendor with specialized expertise can be very beneficial. However, for simpler projects or those closely aligned with the IT unit's capabilities, handling design in-house may be feasible. It is worth noting that the choice between in-house design and vendor involvement can vary from project to project within an organization. Some projects may benefit from full in-house design, while others may require vendor collaboration. The decision should be based on a careful assessment of the project requirements, the capabilities of the IT unit, and the specific objectives and constraints of Puma. Puma's leadership and stakeholders, including IT and procurement, would need to evaluate these factors and determine the most suitable approach for their specific projects and organizational contexts. The level of integration needed and the dependence on Puma's existing IT assets would vary depending on the specific project or initiative being undertaken. Different projects may require varying degrees of integration with Puma's existing IT assets. Here are some factors that do influence the level of integration. So the first one that I put down is system architecture. The existing system architecture and infrastructure at Puma play a crucial role in determining the integration needs. Projects that need to interact with or leverage existing systems, databases, or APIs will have a higher level of integration and dependence on Puma's IT assets. The second one is data integration. If the project involves the exchange or synchronization of data with existing systems or databases, a higher level of integration will be necessary. This might require designing data interfaces, mapping data fields, and ensuring data consistency and integrity across systems. While integration with existing IT assets may be necessary in many cases, it is not the sole determinant of project success. The level of integration should be balanced with the project's objectives, technical feasibility, cost considerations, and potential benefits. Puma's IT team, in collaboration with relevant stakeholders, would need to assess the specific project requirements, evaluate existing IT assets, and determine the appropriate level of integration needed to achieve the desired outcomes, while considering factors such as system compatibility, data integrity, and overall project feasibility. The business cost of not doing a project in-house for Puma depends on factors including the nature of the project, strategic importance, and the specific capabilities and resources of Puma's IT units. These are potential business costs to consider for Puma. So the first one is higher costs and long-term expenses. Depending solely on external vendors can increase project costs, especially if there is a lack of competitive bidding or negotiating leverage. Over the long term, ongoing maintenance, support, and upgrades may also come at higher costs compared to in-house capabilities. Secondly, in terms of increased dependency on external vendors, by relying solely on external vendors per project, Puma may become more dependent on their availability, responsiveness, and expertise. This can lead to potential delays, communication challenges, and reduced control over the project timeline and outcomes. Reflecting on limited customization and control, outsourcing a project entirely to external vendors may limit Puma's ability to customize solutions to its specific needs and maintain control over critical design decisions. It can result in solutions that do not fully align with Puma's unique business requirements and hinder the organization's ability to differentiate itself in the market. Whether to do a project in-house or rely on external vendors is highly dependent on various factors, such as project complexity, resource availability, cost considerations, and strategic objectives. Puma's leadership need to carefully evaluate all the factors and weigh the potential business costs and benefits to make an informed decision that aligns with the organization's specific goals and circumstances.